1 in 3 species of marine mammals have been found entangled in marine litter. Over 90% of the seabirds have plastic pieces in their stomach. We cannot let the world drown in an ocean of garbage. No one wants to live on a plastic planet. Say no to plastic bags. These are some quotes people say, but do they really know what they mean? One of the scariest issues in the world right now is a mounting of waste problem, which impairs public health, pollutes the environment, and threatens to drown some poor countries in toxicity. Each year, nations generate 1.3 billion tons of waste, and in 80 years from now, it is expected to rise to 4 billion tons, according to Eddie Ijas Vasquez, Senior Director of the World Bank's Social, Urban, Rural, and Resilience Global Practice. From that waste, about 12 million tons of plastic enter the ocean each year and will take hundreds of years to degrade. Every year, thousands of ocean creatures are killed by eating or getting entangled in plastic pollution. Coca-Cola alone produces over 110 billion plastic bottles every single year. Because we're not seeing it, we think it's not a problem. It is really easy for us to think that by throwing something to the garbage, it disappears. We have to face the reality. We have to open our eyes. It doesn't. It stays in Earth for a lot of time. If you don't care about the environment, then care about yourself. Once in the ocean, plastic litter affects the safety of sea transport, fisheries, tourism, and recreation. When broken up into tiny pieces, plastic attracts toxic chemicals released over decades from industry and agriculture, the concentration of which increases as they move up on the food chain. Exposures to these chemicals have been suggested to contribute to some cancers and infertility, as well as immune, metabolic, cognitive, and behavior disorders. The entry for plastic pieces into our food chains is a concern to human health.
A group of scientists discovered a bacterium that could feed on plastic. This discovery arrived at the public service hearings and led to a research question. Will the Indonella saccharinesis will be able to dissolve enough trash for the pollution to decrease? Public service joined to the scientists to develop the investigation of Indonella saccharinesis bacterium and find a sustainable and effective solution for waste reduction. Together, they built an hypothesis. The use of Indonella saccharinesis will reduce a 75% of plastic waste in Tangamandapio by dissolving the excess of waste produced by the citizens. After the diagnosis, the first step in the methodology was an investigation of why bacterium called Indonella saccharinesis could feed on plastic. The scientists took more than 250 samples extracted from pet waste and discovered some enzymes that has the property to decompose plastic. It decomposed the plastic into two monomers that are not dangerous products because they can use again to facilitate Indonella saccharinesis growth. These monomers are terephthalic acid and ethylene glycol. After 1 month of lab investigations, scientists proved that Indonella saccharinesis is able to digest plastic in 6 weeks. After the discovery of the enzymes present in the bacterium that could feed on plastic, scientists and the public services proceeded to the bioreactor design. The bioreactor that we use for the reproduction of our enzymes was the batch bioreactor. This has an agitation system that will help us to reproduce our enzyme PETAS. The measurements of this bioreactor were 2.10 meters times 0.8 meters. It was made out of stainless steel with a capacity of 625 of liters. For the conditions of the environment that our enzymes took, we maintain a temperature of 30 degrees and a pH of 6. Bioreactors provide an in vitro environment for tissue growth. Ideally, they mimic the mechanochemical regulation that tissues experience in their native environment. The key functions of a bioreactor are to allow the setting of uniform concentration of cells to a scaffold, control physiological conditions in the cell culture medium like temperature, pH, oxygen levels, and nutrients.
Tangamandapio is not a perfect city. It has serious problems, including waste management. Cities and companies are producing a great amount of waste daily, and this is causing pollution, and it also is damaging the city. Each year, more than 30 million tons of plastics are produced. 90% are petroleum derivatives. For the reduction of plastic trash, the Public Service of Tangamandapio developed a biotechnological process that uses bacteria to break down plastics that is the main contaminant of greater quantity, and in order to treat the waste problematic. Luckily, a Tangamandapian investor is willing to provide an enormous amount of $3 million to develop the project successfully.
Hello, I'm the Secretary General of AMEXCAP, and I'm really interested in the project this team has been telling me about, because I think it's a really good idea. It's very innovative, and I have been receiving a lot of complaints about the pollution, the plastic, the animals dying because of pollution. So I think this idea is very, very important to be developed in this city of Tangamandapio, and the scientific research, it's really professional, and it has been proved in other cities. So I think it's worth it to give my money to develop this project, and I am going to give $3 million, and if they need more money I would give them, because I really believe in this idea, and the results, I think they would be very important in the city. Also, AMEXCAP as a team is very interested in the environment, because we know that it is getting worse every day. There is more pollution, and kids can go out to play because they don't have green space to run or do something, because it is very polluted. Also, we are very interested in this solution, because we know that if the results are as they say, it would be a very big step in humans' life.
Interview some citizens and see what they think about the excessive plastic in our city.
There was not that much garbage where I live, but nowadays people are like throwing all their garbage, and I think that's bad because we are polluting the earth.
The world is ending because of garbage. Why don't you understand? We are killing ourselves.
Oh, crap! How much do I hate trash, because, well, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do outside, but with the trash and all the waste, I cannot do it, damn it! And well, god damn it, government, why don't you do something to clean the streets?
In this city, waste is a massive problem. Every street is filled with waste, organic, inorganic, plastic. It's just horrible. I don't think the government does enough. They just clean some streets, but just like a few days, and in a week or less, they are filled again with much more waste, and I think that's horrible.
I don't care what this does.
As a citizen of Tangamandapio, I think that it's disgusting the way we're living, because near my house there's a river and it's full of plastic, and we cannot use the water anymore. And everyone is getting sick because of all the pollution and the diseases that have been created because of all the waste products.
I'm tired of all this plastic. Damn city doesn't do anything, and freaking hell, I hate living in the city. It's so full of plastic and yuck.
The public services designed the trash plants, where the 5 dumpsters were previously located. The design took 2 months. The design of each one consisted in 3 sections. The first one had the measurements of 50 meters times 20 meters, with a function of dumpsters. The second section had the measurements of 45 meters times 30 meters. This section is for selecting on only PET-type plastic. The third part measured 60 times 60 meters, in which we located a closed dumpster where the bacteria was placed. The last part of our method was measure the content of the citizens, with the index previously mentioned. In the 5th year, after the first construction, the public service made a happiness index, in which citizens expressed improvements in landscape conditions. The happiness index was ranked in the 44th place out of 140. Meanwhile, the ecological footprint ranked the place 33rd of 140. Finally, the Ocean Health Index showed an improvement and had a score of 72 out of 100.